Hello everyone, I guess Jen, hopefully you're having a wonderful day, and today we are here with a video on the most iconic soccer cards within the modern era. I'm considering the modern era anything from 2014 to present day, since 2014 had the first Prism, sort of ushered in numbered cards to a much larger degree than we had seen before. And first Prism led to first Select, led to first Donruss, yada yada. So it feels like a good starting point. With that said, there is more to discuss before we get into it. Disclaimers. First is that this is clearly just a personal list. I didn't have a ton of people vote on it. I didn't put this out to the masses. So it's my opinion. Of course, it can be flawed, and I'd love to hear your thoughts down below in a comment. As always, just recognize that, I'm doing my best. I gave it a good thought, and this is what I came up with. So this is also not meant to tell you what the best cards are of this era. Just because a card is iconic doesn't mean I necessarily think it's the best card out there. To me, rather what I want to get across, or at least with my iconic thought process, I'm considering it cards that are the most widely recognizable soccer cards from their era. So today we're doing modern, I'll do pre-modern, then we'll do vintage. One day, if I get crazy enough, I'll do pre-war, but I don't think I'm there yet. But keep that in mind. So these aren't the top of the hill cards. Some of them can be in rare parallels, but something like a Noir Spotlight from 2016 is so niche that I don't really consider it iconic, although I consider it a really cool card and certainly a grail amongst many. This is sort of meant for what's more widely known. A few fun ones before we get into it, just cards that you had to be there to even think about them whenever you sort of consider this list. The 2019 Ansu Fati Mega Cracks was a huge card at the time, $5,000 to $6,000 at times for a base Mega Cracks card in a PSA 10. I don't know if that sounds familiar to anyone, but the Ansu Fati card at one point was a mega card within the modern space. Jadon Sancho also had his time in the spotlight. That orange PSA 10 there hit an all-time high of 20,000. Granted, that's numbered out of 25 as opposed to the Mega Cracks unnumbered Ansu Fati card. Speaking of unnumbered, we also have the Youssoufa Moukoko Topps Now from 2020. Really the first sort of on-demand card that absolutely popped off in soccer. The Bundesliga's record for the youngest player ever. I think he was rumored to be 16 at the time, and just all the rage. They ended up printing somewhere in the mid 40,000 number for that card in particular. So that was a huge one for the moment as well. With that said, those were the honorable mentions in terms of players that if you were there at the time, you might consider them. With that said, let's go ahead and get on to number 10. So getting on to the list here at number 10, we have the 2022 Panini Instant Lionel Messi card, another on-demand card here, but one that, forever is going to have much more significance than that Youssoufa Moukoko card we just saw. This clearly depicts Messi after winning the 2022 World Cup, being lifted by his teammates, carrying the World Cup trophy. Really everything you want, an iconic moment clearly, and certainly it is the moment here and the image captured that is carrying the card. Panini Instants would find it hard to get on this list at all, but given the moment, this is sort of a card that almost anyone could be found having in their PC just because it is sort of that legendary, and it edges its way in here at number 10. At number 9, we have the 2022 Lionel Messi World Cup Prism. I will be having parallels up on screen that just look nice and some of the highest selling ones, but clearly any level of this card, any variation works. Of course, in the same vein as the Panini Instant we just saw, Messi winning the World Cup gave this Prism all the more meaning, and I would imagine for a lot of people it's probably their first Prism release when they were in the hobby. The soccer collector base grew a ton in 2020, and it seemingly, from my eyes, has continued to grow. And so very little of us, I think, overall, were there for 2018 Prism, let alone 2014 Prism. So this was the first Prism World Cup set that a lot of us got to experience, and for Messi to end up winning it gives it all the more meaning, and is definitely a feather on his cap in terms of his career. These one-of-ones went for some of the highest prices I've seen recently for Lionel Messi's. Now there have been others that have gotten a bit higher, but in terms of all-time high sales in 2022, 2023, these were amongst the very top in terms of the rarest parallels. At number 8, we have Lamine Yamal's Mega Cracks from 2023, 2024, the 108 BIS, an update set Mega Cracks out of Spain here. Of course, has the lineage that sort of goes back to Lionel Messi in 2004. It also has the BIS designation on it, which the Messi did as well. Lamine Yamal does have other Mega Cracks, and Lamine Yamal does have many other cards, which makes this one very tricky in my eye. But because he has so many other cards, this has sort of been the standout, and maybe not for the best reasons. There's been a lot of controversy on, prices and how they got there. Or is there shilling? There's always that sort of speculation, and rightfully so in some instances. But to my eyes, this one has sort of been a standout. of the last 6 months or so. And I think a lot more people would easily recognize this as opposed to almost any other card. Maybe you could make an argument for his Topps Chrome UEFA, and I could see that, but I think the Mega Cracks is just a smidge more iconic, at least in my... But I went with the Mega Cracks card, and it cracks the list here at number 8. Moving on to 7, this one certainly had to be on there, and that is the 2014 Prizm World Cup matchups, none other than Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi. This is a very coveted card, even in base. You see those going for good numbers over on your preferred auction house or eBay. And rightfully so, I think it's one of the best cards out there if you want a Cristiano Ronaldo and a Messi card combined. From 2010 to 2020, there wasn't a ton of dual images for these two, and a lot of them looked a little rough. They were sort of contrived. This one, I mean, I guess is also, but it looks really good. It's within the Prizm set. People like the World Cup matchups as is, so being able to have the two best players of all time, or two of the best players of all time, I guess, two of the best players of this era for sure. Really cool card and coveted by basically anyone that's collecting Prizm, I would assume. Getting back to the rookie side of things at number 6, we have the Erling Haaland 2019 Topps Chrome Bundesliga. Here we have pictured his red refractor, but of course any parallels, base, silver, whatever it may be, will do. This card to me is definitely the standout for Erling Haaland. There's some others that come to mind. You could, maybe throw in his foosball sticker, but stickers, once you hit 2019, are sort of irrelevant. I think they sort of went out of style a few years earlier, and we'll talk about one of those just here in a second. But for me, this was definitely the standout in terms of design. He does have a Chrome UEFA Champions League card, but that one, at least to me and seemingly to many others, doesn't quite have the appeal that this one does. Also, this was out fairly early in the cycle, so it had a lot of time for people to be able to see it and relate to it and make it sort of mentally the card they thought of when they thought of Erling Haaland. So I think it deserves to be up here, and that's why I put it at number 6. On to number 5, we have Kylian Mbappe's 2016 Panini foot sticker. Also, we have someone named Gene here that, is just making his way onto the sticker as well. But for me, I think of this really as the last sticker that truly matters in my head. Of course, other stickers matter. If you want to collect it, do whatever you want. But in terms of like big stickers, when I think of a modern rookie, I think players like Thomas Muller and Lewandowski, and you got KDB and Lukaku, those players around the like 2008 to 2010-ish range, like those Panini stickers are really doing good back then. I think they carry a lot of legacy. I think the stickers continue to carry some legacy into the early 2010s, and this is about where it falls off. Mostly for the reason that Kylian Mbappe didn't have any 2016 cards alongside it. This is a standalone 2016 release for him, and conventionally stickers are what's really collected for soccer across the globe. Cards started coming out of the scene more and more over time. They've always sort of been there in different formats, but they've definitely grown a lot of favorability in the market today, especially, colors, serial numbers, all that good stuff. But for a majority of soccer collectors globally, stickers are a really big deal. Maybe not in terms of pricing, but just in terms of collectability. And so I think that this is the last one before we sort of go forward into another era with modern soccer, and that's why for me it makes a list at number 5. Moving on to number 4, another Kylian Mbappe here. This is his Topps Chrome 2017, so as we just saw, the sticker is 2016, this is 2017, and it is first year Topps Chrome. A lot of people like first year Topps Chrome, a lot of people like Kylian Mbappe rookies. Put the two together, and along with this imagery, you got a really iconic card for sure. Again, pick your parallel of choice, base, silver, whatever it may be. This has always been a standout card in the set. At one time it dwarfed anything else in the set, then the set got a good bit of love from a lot of collectors, and now it's, somewhat competitive with the likes of Messi and Ronaldo, but it definitely still ranks above the most sought after within that set, and again, rightfully so. He doesn't have a ton of 2017 releases. He has a few. He's got Select. He's got definitely like Adrenaline and other stickers and stuff like that, but there's a museum set also. But all to say, the Chrome is certainly the most preferred of the bunch. The field level looks nice, and some of the rare parallels can do, but 2017 Chrome, Kylian Mbappe definitely deserves behind this list. At number 3, I copped out. I put two together, and I'm going to do it here again in a second. I'm just putting Messi and Ronaldo together. I don't want to go through the mental process of being like, oh, well, which one's better and how much better does that make his card than, am I going to put it at 5? Who cares? Two of the best players of this era, however you want to rank them. I've been around long enough in the hobby to have been here during a time where people rated Ronaldo higher, where a majority of the hobby was Team Ronaldo. Now I'm here during a time where a majority of the hobby is Team Messi. And, it could go back the other way. Sure, Messi's got the World Cup, but Ronaldo has a lot more celebrity appeal, and I think that type of stuff really carries you post-career. So yeah, Messi's got the World Cup, but they both have a ton of legacy behind them, a ton of trophies, a ton of celebrity. I mean, they've been on the world stage competing back and forth for 20 years at this point plus, and, basically ran the whole thing for 10 to 15 for sure. So however you want to rank them, that's beside the point. 2014 Prizm is one of, if not the most, potentially, depending on your feelings towards it, iconic sets within modern soccer. First World Cup Prizm, it was really what started the soccer boom back in the day, or at least really the first bubble, I guess, that we saw. It's where a lot of people sort of flooded into first, whether it be soccer collectors or just people from other sports that wanted to get a taste and maybe flip a bit. Everyone was buying 2014 World Cup Soccer. At one point, the base cards of these were multiple thousands in PSA 10. Nowadays, they're far off that because pops have risen a ton and, people have gotten a bit smarter. But even in these rarer parallels, they still sell for a fortune. So definitely loved, definitely proven with high prices as well. And certainly within the zeitgeist of the modern hobby. Everyone knows 2014 Prizm if you've even sniffed soccer from afar. So along the same lines, 2017 Chrome has certainly sort of rivaled 2014 Prizm, I would say, in terms of collector's favor, in terms of knowledge outside of soccer. That's sort of the next thing that I guess would make sense, honestly. If first Prizm's a big deal, first Topps Chrome would also be a big deal, especially when you got really good looking cards like this, where you got Messi on Barca, you got Ronaldo on Real Madrid, you got Mbappe in his rookie season, so there's a lot of appeal there as well. People typically like club kit, that is. And with the nice color checklist that you have here as well, it's definitely become a fan favorite. And, I could see putting Prizm at 2 and Chrome at 3. I mean, however you want to do it. I don't think there's a big difference here. I think we're really nitpicking as we get to the top, but that's what we must do. So I don't really think there's a whole lot of debate here. These certainly deserve to be here, and were basically just a gimme towards the top of the list. And then finally, and this, could be debatable, I don't know. For me, it's very clear. I feel like the 2018 Prizm Kylian Mbappe is the iconic card of modern soccer. Again, sometimes we're biased towards the era where we came in, and I came in 2020, and in 2020 there was the Prizm boom. In 2020, Kylian Mbappe was the big guy, but that sort of continued into 2021, 2022, had an amazing World Cup there in 2022 as well, and very easily could have had 2 World Cups back-to-back. Also, along the same lines as the Erling Haaland Chrome Bundesliga we saw earlier, this was the rookie, and this really was the rookie card for him amongst the greater hobby in totality. I'd imagine people that barely had any knowledge that soccer existed had heard back in 2020 or 2021 about this card. So the knowledge of this card is very widespread. Does that mean those same people are coming in and buying it up? It's the most desirable card ever? Not necessarily, but in rare parallels and high grade, these are very desirable. And to me, I think it's definitely the standout Prizm of this era. 2014 Messi and Ronaldo, it's cool, it's first year Prizm, but neither of them won it. It didn't have the same significance. The significance here for Kylian Mbappe is clearly great. Now, there's some debate on if he's going to live up to that as a player, and will this play out to be the most iconic card 10, 20 years down the line? I'm not sure, but this is really a video about what I feel at this moment in time. It's very hard to project, so that's better left undone. But that is going to be it for the most iconic modern soccer cards today. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to leave a like. Again, would love to hear your thoughts down below on any that you think I missed or would have added yourself. And if you want to see more videos like this as soon as they go live, make sure to subscribe. But with that said, hopefully you have a wonderful day, and peace.